All right, so welcome everybody to the week number 2. So today we will review the syllabus and then we'll start with the slides and content. Woohoo, excited. So this is the first learning outcome. This is what we want you to learn. So who can tell me what is the keyword here? You can tell me what is the keyword. Oh, by the way, follow my mouse. You can speak if you want. For example, who is in Saudi Arabia? Is anybody joining us from Saudi Arabia? No one? Yes, me. Aisha. What is the keyword in this learning outcome? Anybody? You can write a post-it, or you can write in a post-it and explain to me, well, what do you think this means? Have you heard the sentence user-centered design before? Yes? No?
Yes.
Excellent. So remember the rules. If you speak, you say your name first and then you speak.
Khalfan.
Khalfan. So what does this mean?
User-centered, it's when the engineering of the software comes from the designing starts from the user itself. It's user-oriented also, sometimes they name it.
Okay, somebody else?
From the user.
Okay, yeah.
So when you try, you don't go through the other processes. Like sometimes it does not come to my mind. I forget the other one, but it does not care about the user. So
the other one, I think it's called bad design.
So no,
right?
I think it's secure, or and there's another one about the process itself.
Right.
So the design comes from the process, not from the user experience.
Okay.
The user-centered, you start from the experience of the user. And mostly this is used for application that is targeting an end user, like mobile apps and these things. Sometimes if it not include user experience, or it's a minimal experience for the user, and is not really their target. They're targeting automating processes and other things. They sometimes neglect the user because they assume that the user will be like an administrator or something, someone who's not like a customer.
Very good. That's very good. So yeah, that's more or less it. Yeah. So user-centered design became famous. It is also known as design thinking or service design. Also lean UX. All these things are user-centered design. What it means is that before the 1950s, engineers, they used to design cars, airplanes, and it was so difficult to make a car or an airplane or a computer that they didn't even have time to think about the user or if it would be easy to use. The priority was to get it done, okay? So for example, when you build a very complex technological product, it's so difficult, it's so complicated, it's so hard that you don't have time to think about the user and if it's easy to use or not. And that's more or less the way things were done before. But then after the 1950s, when, for example, people start using more and more cars or planes, right? And so they start thinking also that, well, that the product is easy to use. It's also important for two reasons. One is that it will sell more. and the other is that it is safer. Does it make sense? And a very good example is the dashboards of the cars, where you can see the speed. Yes, that's called the speed meter. You see my screen, right? So car dashboard. So a car dashboard like this one, for example. Yes. So there's many ways to do a car dashboard. This is one of them, and this is the most common. But in the 1970s, for example, some brands like Toyota, Citroën, they experimented with innovative car displays like digital. Like, for example, having this, yeah, numbers, okay? Or fancy things like this, or yeah, things like that. And with numbers, for example. And there's a famous one from 1980. Where you would display, you know, numbers or like this with this, okay? And the thing, or like this one, look at this one, yeah, you get it? And so what happened with this is that the human brain is very fast at reading the needle, and it takes 40, 60, 100 milliseconds more to understand the speed from a real number, right? And because people spend more time watching that than the road, this kind of displays actually killed a lot of people. And so it's not only so because the usability was worse, people died, yes? So that's why in this lecture we say that bad design kills, so it's true. Sounds good? So user-centered design, it's really good to make people products more user-friendly, but it's also a safety thing. And we will see that more in detail in one of the lectures. Sounds good? So very important thing we want you to understand. The other thing is, the second one is this one. And so who can explain this one to me? Right here, this one. Okay. Who can tell me what this means? Nobody? Fatima Al-Raisi. Yes, Aisha, please go ahead. Or somebody else? Nobody? Halafan? Nobody? Can you?
Usability?
Yeah. Apply usability. Do you see the screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So what do you think it means?
Usability is the ease to learn how to use, and the how to get what you want from the software without being annoyed or without being deceived by colors. It's also important to choose, like, it's within the usability is the colors. Does it really guide me through the application? Do the application achieve the target
Very good. Yeah.
with less interactions with the customer? Is it time consuming? Is it
Excellent. Very good. Yeah, that's very good. Halafan, I'm losing you. Do you hear me well? Everybody else. Do you hear me well? Yes? Okay, good. So the keyword here is the principle. So we will learn the principles of good design. So, and in your case, most of you will be working designing applications. So we want you to apply this design. So you will learn these principles, and then you will learn the principles to evaluate. More than principles, it's going to be tools and methods of evaluation. How do you measure how good or how usable is an app, right? So we will teach you, you will learn how to do this. This is also known as usability. So how do you measure the usability? So, and I'm talking here about when you have an app or a washing machine, like, can the usability be improved or not? Is it easy to use? Is it hard to use? And so on. So we will learn about that. That's good. Number 3 is going to be prototypes, and you will do this through Figma, but also you will learn what is word framing, what is the process of prototyping. Sounds good? This skill is super in market demand, so that's a really good skill to have as well. And the other is you will learn to evaluate again. So you will not only learn the principles, but you will learn to evaluate the usability. And how do we do that? Sounds good? Okay, questions? Good, so let's go to it. And the first thing we will learn in this course is design thinking. Okay, so have you heard this word before, design thinking? Nobody? Say something, anybody?
This is Iman talking. Yes.
Iman, speak louder, please. Yes.
Yes, I have heard about the design thinking and the process of design thinking.
Okay, what have you done a workshop or something?
I taught that part. We taught the design thinking process for the students.
You teach it.
Yeah, we start
Excellent.
by
How
defining
do
the
you?
problem. Then
Excellent.
we
Maybe
plan.
you will help me to teach it.
Yes, no, why not?
Okay, so how do you teach design thinking, or how would you explain to our students what is design thinking? Why should we learn it? What is it? Why is it useful?
It's actually a procedure that we follow in our daily lives without noticing it to solve certain problems. So we actually can apply it to any problem. It's not for just designing issues. So we usually, when we have a problem, we go to deeply understand it first. So this is the first stage that we go through to understand what is the problem that we need to solve. And then we move on to plan how to solve it. So brainstorm, look how other people are solving such an issue, or how other people are doing it. Then we start our own ideas, to come up with our own ideas, choose the right idea, and then create the prototype. And then we go through the testing stages and all.
That is wonderful, and that's more or less what it is. So excellent, that's very good. Yeah. So as I said, design thinking appeared in the 1970s. It was mostly popularized by a design firm called IDEO, and they have a website which is fantastic, ideo.org. Really fast, right? So this is what we call a design firm. So for example, when you're a big company and you need somebody to design a product for you, you will go to one of these companies and they will design a product for you. IDEO was the company that designed the first Apple mouse, for example. And so it's the first company that used or popularized design thinking. And they became very famous, and design thinking was their superpower, basically. That's why they became very famous. You can use design thinking to solve or to design better. So I'm gonna ask you a question. It's like, and that's the problem that design thinking solves. So when you go to work, you will work in groups because problems today are super complex. Yeah, and that means that the only way to solve problems today, design an app and so on, build a hospital, improve a hospital, anything. You don't do it alone. You have to work with people. And have you noticed that sometimes you have a group of really, really, really smart people, and that you put them together in a group, and that this group IQ, well, it's not very high because, you know, egos, or they don't work well together. Have you noticed that? So design thinking solves this problem for you, and it gives you a way to work together, a set of rules, and if you follow them as a group, then your creative output as a group will be fantastic. Sounds good? And design thinking was first used to design normal physical products, but now it's used to design apps and so on. And it has many flavors. One of the flavors is called Lean UX, and that's for designing apps. Then there's another flavor called service design. This is for designing services like a restaurant experience, and so on. Sounds good? So what we will do today, we will learn about this because this is one of the foundations of how people work. And when you design a user experience, in our case, human-computer interaction. So how do you make apps and computers? How do you design these interactions in a better way? Most of the companies today, the way their teams work, it's based on this design thinking philosophy. And there are various flavors. And when you go to work, you will choose the flavor that is best suited. Sounds good? So there is a very good introductory video for this design thinking and why is it important. And we usually used to do a workshop. It's called the Marshmallow Workshop. Have you ever seen this workshop before? Anybody? Have you done it? Aisha, have you done the Marshmallow Workshop?
No, doctor, not yet.
Okay, so this workshop is amazing. We cannot do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch a video, okay? And so, which is a video we watch after we do the workshop. And so we're going to watch it. And Marshmallow Workshop. Find it. Here it is. Are you ready for this?
Teams of 4 have to build the tallest freestanding.
Right. Is the sound good? Is the sound good?
Yes, yes.
Excellent. So let's watch the Marshmallow Workshop that you can watch by yourselves. I share the link here, but we can watch it together. So I will be stopping the video and asking questions. Sounds good?
Several years ago here at TED, Peter Skillman introduced a design challenge called the Marshmallow Challenge. And the idea is pretty simple. Teams of 4 have to build the tallest freestanding structure out of 20 sticks of spaghetti, 1 yard of tape, 1 yard of string, and a marshmallow. And the marshmallow has to be on top. And though it seems really simple, it's actually pretty hard because it forces people to collaborate very quickly. And so I thought this was an interesting idea, and I incorporated it into a design workshop, and it was a huge success. And since then, I've conducted about 70 design workshops across the world with students and designers and architects, even the CTOs of the Fortune 50. And there's something about this exercise that reveals very deep lessons about the nature of collaboration, and I'd like to share some of them with you. So normally, most people begin by orienting themselves to the task. They talk about it, they figure out what it's going to look like, they jockey for power, then they spend some time planning, organizing, they sketch in, they lay out spaghetti. They spend the majority of their time assembling the sticks into ever-growing structures, and then finally, just as they're running out of time, someone takes out the marshmallow, and then they gingerly put it on top, and they stand back and ta-da! They admire their work. But what really happens most of the time is that
Okay, okay, did you get it? So can anybody tell me what is the goal of the exercise?
Doctor, this is Iman talking.
Iman, welcome.
Actually, I have done something very similar in my classroom for the students.
What's the name?
But since I didn't have the spaghetti sticks, so what I suggested doing, just to let them learn the process of problem solving, we did is that I asked them to build a tower of pens and pencils, and the highest they could go without making it fall would be the best design.
Oh, and what happened?
And it was very fun. They really enjoyed doing it, and they kept on trying. They try the first idea, it fails, they try again, then they keep on trying until they figure out, like, for example, if they put the wooden pencils first, it will make it much better going up without failing down. So they keep on experimenting things, and they actually work it out at the end.
This one is a bit different, and let's see, because we have, what elements do we have here? We have a marshmallow, right? Each team has a marshmallow.
Yeah, marshmallow and spaghetti sticks, this one.
20, and then we have a rope, and then we have a tape, yeah? 1 meter and 1 meter. And let's see what happened.
the ta-da turns into an uh-oh, because the weight of the marshmallow causes the entire structure to buckle and to collapse. So there are a number of people who have a lot more uh-oh moments than others. And
yeah, before we proceed, do you know what MBA means? MBA. Have you heard this word before? MBA? Yes, Khalafan, what is an MBA?
It's a Management Business Administration certificate for master students.
Master of Business Administration. Is it cheap or is it expensive to take this course?
I think it's double the price for this. It's
Super
more expensive, the double more than software engineering.
Do MBAs have a good reputation or a bad reputation?
I think now, no. But before at some point, it was like a prestigious certificate. Today's everyone gets it.
Okay, okay. So there's this joke in America about MBAs. MBAs are very ambitious people, very driven, very ambitious. There is this, well, it's not a joke, it's a real story. So it's people who want to be bosses, yes? And so you take this course, you pay a lot of money, and then maybe you're lucky to become a boss. And you put MBA candidates in a room, and you tell them to put their heads under a table, okay? And you ask them to raise their hands if they believe, so whoever believes they are better, or they are better than the other 90% of the classroom, okay? And do you know how many of them raise their hands? All of them, right? And that's why there's very ambitious and very driven people, and so people like to make fun of them. It doesn't mean all MBAs are bad or good, it's just American sense of humor. Now, so MBAs, okay? So,
among the worst are recent graduates of business school. It's amazing. They lie, they cheat, they get distracted, and they produce really lame structures. And of course, there's teams that have a lot more ta-da structures. And among the best are...
So who do you think is good at this game, the building the tower? I give you choices: engineers, students of engineering, students of architecture, old people, young people. Who do you think is good at this? You can type in the chat. If you get it right, you get a bonus point. No one? Kids? That is correct. Yes, that is correct. Kids, so let's see it.
Are recent graduates of kindergarten. And it's pretty amazing, as Peter tells us. Not only do they produce the tallest structures, but they're the most interesting structures of them all. So the question you want to ask is, how come?
And I'm asking you now, how come? How come children are better than the grown-ups at doing this game? More innovative? No, Halafan, it's not. That's not the answer. They can get, no, that's not the answer, Saifa. Safia.
I meant they're not.
They're more innovative.
They're not guided with the
yes
tools that they
collaborate.
Time.
I think. Yeah.
So
yeah.
they
Fatima
don't have
right.
this. Yeah. Yes. More honest to each other.
No, that's not the reason. The reason is the way they collaborate. It's different from the grown-ups. So let's see how they do it.
Why? What is it about them? And Peter likes to say that none of the kids spend any time trying to be CEO of Spaghetti Inc.
Hold on a second. What does that mean?
No one is bossing around.
Exactly. That's exactly. Not only that, they don't waste time on that. Yeah, they don't waste time on that. Good.
Right? They don't spend time jockeying for power. But there's another reason as well. And the reason is that business students are trained to find the single right plan.
Okay, so we have two reasons. Why don't we write them on Miro? So we want later to find out. So I'm going to make a space on Miro here. So does somebody want to write here, follow my mouse, and I'm going to write Y K outperform Mbas at the Marshmallow Tower. Can somebody put a post-it here? Yes, Megadi, post-it. You can take post-its from here. So it's going to be 3 reasons. Oi. Here. Oi. No. Great. By the way, Miro, you can paste URLs, YouTube videos, and all that stuff. That's amazing. Oh, okay. I pasted it 3 times. Hold on a second. Come on, Miro, you can do it. I can move it. See? Okay, there's a bug in Miro now, and I cannot do anything about it. Right, we'll post it below. So what are the 3 reasons? Can you write? So 1 is that, yeah, Iman, you can write here. Yes, go on. Iman, that's good. That's really nice. But be more specific. Be specific. Like, first one is that they don't waste time fighting for power, right? That's 1. So they have more time to work, right? So no time wasted for fighting for power, yes? And the second one is that university graduates, so BAs, are trained to what? What did he say? Let's listen again.
CEO of Spaghetti Inc., right? They don't spend time jockeying for power. But there's another reason as well. And the reason is that business students are trained to find the single right plan.
Did you see that? They are trained to find a single solution. So the view of the world is, for every problem, there can only be a single solution, right? A single optimal solution, right? And that is affecting how they see the world. So we can write something like, how would you summarize this? I would say, what would you say? Somebody? Nobody? Is Miro frozen? Iman, what would you write here? Halafan, what would you write here? How do you summarize this? Find not the right plan, the single. So, and actually not only business people, but engineers as well, right? When you do exams, and you answer, there's only one correct answer all the time, isn't it? Mathematic problems, there's only one correct answer all the time, right? Yes. And this is a problem because it affects how you work and how you see the world. We become seeking that there can only be one single right solution. There can only be one single right plan. And this is a bias. So we will call this not looking for single optimal solution, but bias towards single optimal solution. Yes. Yeah, very good, Iman. Iman, bonus point for writing post-its. Sounds good. And the next one, let's see.
Right? And then they execute on it. And then what happens is when they put the marshmallow.
Right, so this is the thinking we have. Bias towards single optimal solution or plan. And then you do the plan, right? That's how we train you, right? Engineers as well, no? You find the perfect shape of the bridge, the perfect design, and then you build it. Isn't that the way we train you to do things? Right.
Marshmallow on top, they run out of time, and what happens? It happens is when they plan, right? And then they execute on it. And then what happens is when they.
So business students, what they do is they spend a lot of time planning, right? That's what we teach you here. Plan, 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 plan. Planning is important.
Put the marshmallow on top, they run out of time, and what happens? It's a crisis. Sound?
Yeah, that's what actually happens. Most of the engineers, business students, and so on.
Familiar, right? Okay. What kindergartners do differently is that they start with the marshmallow and they build prototypes.
You see, what is the difference now with BAs and kindergartens? What is the biggest difference? Anybody? Can somebody tell me the difference? Aisha Manzoor. Yeah. They build successive prototypes. Yeah. How many more prototypes they build according to this picture? 5x more, right? So you can write here 5x more prototyping. Sounds good? These are the three differences. So write more typing. MBA plans while kids use experiments. Exactly correct. And we call that more prototyping, or also known as iterative design, or also known as iterative thinking or iterative prototyping, which means basically like you try things and get feedback as quickly and cheaply as possible to improve. So that's an iterative strategy, right?
I have a question.
Yes, who's speaking?
This is Fatima.
Can you speak louder?
When they build more prototypes, is that taking more time, or we are wasting the time and products?
That's very good thinking. So that's a very good question, right? So isn't prototyping expensive? Yes, it is more expensive, especially it's
time and money.
More money. But, and here is the thing, there are ways to prototype cheaply. Okay? there are ways to prototype cheaply, and this is one of the skills that you will learn in this course. How do you do to prototype cheaply? And Figma, this app I made you download, is a way to prototype cheaply because it lets you build things that look like an app, like a working app, without having to code the actual app. Does that make sense?
Yes,
so that's a very good question. Isn't it prototyping more expensive? Yes, most of the time is, but smart engineers find ways to prototype cheaply. Any other questions?
Of prototypes, always keeping the marshmallow on top. So they have multiple times to fix and build prototypes along the way. So designers recognize this type of collaboration as the essence of the iterative process.
So here, the iterative process, prototype, learn something, improve the design, check it again, learn, improve, check, learn, improve. That cycle, it's the core of design thinking. It is the core of UX design. It is the core of app design today. It is the core of Agile. Who's in my Agile class here as well? In CSBP 412. Has anybody taken my class, CSBP 4112? Anybody? AKA Agile. So if you know Agile, Safia, you know Agile, you will recognize that about 50% of the Agile methodology is very similar to design thinking, because good things work everywhere. Okay, who of you don't know Agile? Say me in the chat. Okay, why not? And the rest, I assume you know Agile. Anybody can explain Agile to the class a bit, very quickly. So Agile was a way of working to build software that came a group of angry software developers. They had a meeting one day in, somewhere, and they decided that they didn't like to work like the master business students, to plan and then design the app and then do the requirements document and then code the app and then test the app, and then 2 years later they finish the app. And they said they didn't like that because software world changes too fast. It's a high complexity environment where a small change in one place affects the rest. So it doesn't make change. It doesn't make sense to plan long term because things change too fast, because the high complexity of software. And because of this, the way they were working, which is planning, they were very frustrated. So they invented Agile. And Agile, what you do in Agile is very similar to what you do in design thinking. You build an app by talking to the customer, and you work for 2 weeks, and then you build some feature of the app, you show it to the customers, you test it in the market, you learn something, and then the next 2 weeks, you use that knowledge to improve. And in this way, you don't work blindly for 2 years to then find out that what people wanted is something else. Does it make sense? This works as well for entrepreneurs. Many entrepreneurs, they do the mistake of having an idea, then working on it for 6 months, not telling anybody, and then 6 months later, they show what they did, and it turns out that nobody wants that. Whereas smart entrepreneurs use what we call lean startup, lean UX, and they work for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. They show what they did to a lot of people, they get feedback, and then they correct course. Make sense? Iterative prototyping. Right, let's continue.
And with each version, kids get instant feedback about what works and what doesn't work. So the capacity to play and prototype is really essential. But let's look at how different teams perform. So the average for most people is around 20 inches. Business school students, about half of that. Lawyers, a little better, but not much better than that. Kindergartens, better than most adults. Who does the very best? Architects and engineers, thankfully.
Thank God. So I've done this workshop many times when I was teaching design thinking at UA University. And yeah, I confirm we've done like maybe 20, 30 workshops like this one. And I can confirm that this is true also with UAE students. They are worse than the kindergartens.
And 39 inches is the tallest structure I've seen. And why is it? Because they understand triangles and self-reinforcing geometrical patterns are the key to building stable structures. So CEOs, a little bit better than average, but here's where it gets interesting. If you put an executive admin on the team, they get significantly better. It's incredible.
What?
You know.
Okay, what do you think about this chart? Any reactions? Any comments? Do you agree with this?
I think because the executives,
who's speaking?
they will,
who's speaking? Who's speaking?
The only one have been speaking today.
Well, have a fun.
Tell me.
Yes.
I think I speak a lot.
No, I will love you speaking, right? Yes.
So CEOs, like when they are all CEOs, then there is a little bit more fight. But when there's executive with them, there's less fight because there's one CEO who will lead. So this will help them to be more cooperative and they will do better.
I think that's really good. But Safia says CEO used to give instructions only. This is true. Executive, what is an executive admin? What is an executive admin? Do you know what it means? It's usually it's a woman and it's a secretary of the CEO, right? So it's people that are used to organize information for other people, right? So look, it's a big difference, yeah? And usually it's a woman. So imagine a group of men, you put a woman and suddenly they work together. Oh my God, wow, amazing, right? And why do you think they work better? Is it because it's a woman or is it because something else? Khalafan?
I think when you have variety of genders in the team, it's much better.
And why is that?
I have one of the experiment that was reading, it was about 3 teams. They've sent like in a simulator in the, I forget where, one of the northern countries in Scandinavia. So they put them there in the middle of the snow in isolated, isolated rooms. So they imitate living in the moon.
Okay.
So you actually will be there for 30 days only, like working and interacting with these. I think they were 6 members or 4 members. So you only have interaction to each other, these 4. And there was one team who's all men, team of all women, and team of variety of them. So when it is like when they were all men, there were more competition between them. And when they are all women, there's also again more competition between them. But when they are variety, they
diversity.
are more cooperative, collaborative. Yeah.
We say diversity. Yes, that's exactly
Diversity.
true. But I want you to think about this. Look at the chart. It's on middle board. It's 20 with CEOs and almost 30 right? With think about the y-axis as money worked on, and think about this is not just a workshop. Think about this as a year of work of a company. This is a huge amount of difference. It's not a joke. Does make sense? And that's why when I advise companies and I see a team and there's only guys there, and it's a team supposed to design an app where 50% of the people are women, and I say, you guys, how can you have no women here, giving you a different perspective? You have a massive blind spot. Does that make sense? Exactly. Not only men, women, yet anybody who is different in a team adds diversity, and here you can see the difference. It's not just because it's a woman, okay? It's because different to the other guys. Sounds good? So well, this is a very, I mean, it's a huge difference, especially if you look at years and years. Okay, let's go back to the video.
You look around, you go, oh, that team's going to win. You can just tell beforehand. And why is that? Because they have special skills of facilitation. They manage the process. They understand the process. And any team who manages and pays a close attention to work will significantly improve the team's performance. Specialized skills and facilitation skills, the combination leads to strong success. If you have 10 teams that typically perform, you'll get maybe 6 or so that have standing structures. And
this is more or less, yeah, typical as well, what I said in the class. Who was talking to me about before? The one that did the workshops with the students. Was it, who was talking to me?
I think you're talking about me.
Yes, yes. How do you like this workshop? Interesting?
Yes, it was really interesting because it was more successful maybe because they were still kids as well. They were 7th graders, yeah. So they performed well.
But not because they're kids. It's just the way they work. So if you teach adults how to do this, they produce very good structures. So
yes, I think we have failed working together. We had a PD session once. It was done by the engineering for us, but we actually failed working together as departments.
They don't exactly fail, but let's say, hey, there's this thing called design thinking, iterative prototyping, and all these things that can make the teams work much better, especially in things, right? So let's see now.
Something interesting, I thought, let's up the ante once. So I offered a $10,000 prize of software to the winning.
I also did that in a real class. So I told them, okay, let's do it again. And this time, the tallest structure, you get an A in the course and you can go home now and you don't have to come back. And this is what it's happening exactly the same.
Team. So what do you think happened to these design students? What was the...
Okay, so what do you think will happen now? Anybody? Who has not spoken yet? Aisha, Fatima. Anybody? What do you think will happen? More stressful, yes, definitely, because there's an incentive.
Result. Here's what happened. Not one team had a standing structure.
So what happened? They were thinking about the money and the price, and
one had, if anyone had built, say, a 1-inch structure, they would have taken home the prize. So isn't it interesting that high stakes have a strong impact? We did the exercise again with the same...
Right, okay, so no knowledge and stress, so it's worse, yeah?
Students, what do you think happened then? So now they understand the value of prototyping.
Wow.
So the same team went from being the very worst.
Oh my God, do you see this? Do you see that? It's almost the double, yes?
Now they understand the value.
It goes from here.
Of prototyping. So the same team went from being the...
It's almost, 40% more. Sounds good? This is amazing. Do you guys realize with it? 40, it's almost double, like 80% more, sorry, 80% more. Do you get how huge this is? Imagine all your future life, you will be working, and imagine that somebody shows you a way to work where you are 80% more productive and you have more fun. Well, that's design thinking. Sounds good? Any comments? Do you believe it? Good, awesome. So let's move on.
The very worst to being among the very best. They produce the tallest structures in the least amount of time. So there's deep lessons for us about the nature of incentives and success. So you might ask, why would anyone actually spend time running a Marshmallow challenge? And the reason is I help create digital tools and processes to help teams build cars and video games and visual effects. And what the Marshmallow Challenge does is it helps them identify the hidden assumptions.
This is also very important. So what is he saying here, this guy, Tom Wojcik? What is he saying? What does it mean, hidden assumption? Yes, that's what he said before, but let's listen to this snippet one more time.
Create digital tools and processes to help teams build cars and video games and visual effects. And what the Marshmallow Challenge does is it helps them identify the hidden assumptions.
What is that? What does that mean? What is he saying? What is he saying? Unknown risks. Yes, Sophia, very good. Unknown risks. That's what he's saying. The marshmallow was the hidden assumption. What was the hidden assumption hidden in the marshmallow? What was the assumption that adults did, but was made the structures collapse? What was the assumption that they did in the planning phase? What was the assumption? Anybody?
Because frankly, every project has its own marshmallow, doesn't it? The challenge provides a shared experience, a common language, a common stance to build the right prototype. And so this is the value of the experience of this so simple exercise. And those of you who are interested may want to go to marshmallowchallenge.com. It's a blog that you can look at how to...
Blah, blah, blah. Excellent. Now, what was the, what is this thing about the hidden assumption in the marshmallow? What was the hidden assumption in the marshmallow? What do you think? Anybody? Bonus point, whoever gets it right. No one? No? Have a fun. Exactly, yeah. If you think about it, the marshmallow is the heaviest thing in the whole project. It weighs like 5 spaghettis or 6 spaghettis. It's very heavy, it's not light. And this was a problem in the planning phase because, they think, it's not very heavy, we don't need to think about it. We just build a tower and it stands and then we put it. But no, actually, the marshmallow is quite heavy, right? And this is the problem with planning. There's lots of hidden assumptions and you can find them by prototyping. Sounds good? Excellent, that's good. Yes, good. All right, are you ready for another video or do you need to do a small break to go drink some coffee or something? Right, so we'll do, we can have a break. I think it's a good idea. A small break. How long? 7 minutes or 9 minutes? 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say it because we need to pray also.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Okay, perfect. That's a very good point. So I'll make it 12 minutes and I'm going to put the timer here in Miro. Sounds good? Super cool. I'll see you in 10 minutes. Ciao, ciao. It's the problem.
Hello, it's nice to meet you. My name is actually CJ, not Jen. And yeah, nice to meet you. I would agree.
Hi. 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 Uh, Well, time is up. Who is back? Type something in the chat so I know you're back. All right. I think if you're not here, can you say something that you're not here? Nobody's saying anything. So I guess everybody's here. Good. Do you see the screen? Do you see the screen? Yes, good. Right. So before we proceed with design thinking, I want you to ask you in the middle board, I'd like to know something. Wait. Here, come here. I have prepared some post-its. Right. So I would like you to tell me what would you like to learn most in this course? What is the number one thing that you would like to learn in terms of software or in terms of skill? Sounds good? Yeah, can you? Just type anything you want that comes to mind. That will help us focus a bit more on different things. If Halafan, you mean affective, right? Affective. Yes. Can you type on the middle board, Halafan, or I type for you? Affective computing. Halafan, do you have a Twitter account? Oh, who made the new frame? Just keep it there. I made it. Okay. Good. It's a new frame. Wanted skills. Wanted. And by the way, you should not be shy in telling me what you want, because we have a bit of freedom in this course because I am the boss of this course. So, and this is amazing. Effective computing is one. App development, perfect. Okay, who typed this one? App development. Okay. We can remove the post-it so we don't need. Somebody else? Halfan, you have Twitter. Okay, so go to Twitter and you might want to follow the queen of effective computing called, after me, right? After following me, you might want to follow a woman called Rosalind Picard. See if you can find her on Twitter. She's the queen. She invented effective computing, basically. She's amazing. And she has very good lectures on YouTube. A very good lecture is about autistic kids. So they put some bracelets on them. And so, you know, kids, there's this thing with autistic kids that before they have a seizure, an attack, the constant vitals in the left hand and in the right hand are different. So if you monitor both, you can predict when they're going to have a seizure. So that's a very good research they do there in Harvard, no, MIT. Let me know when you find her on Twitter. Anybody? Data visualization. Okay, this is a bit outside the scope of this course. So I teach a data visualization course. We have a course for that called data visualization. It's super awesome. Gianna, can you explain a bit more about this then? You mean how to create dashboards?
Yes, so whenever we have data with us, whenever we have to create any statistics, particularly with data, so how we can visualize it or design it in a way so that it's very easy for the other person, especially the user, to understand it. Like most of the time we create in our softwares a dashboard with statistics everywhere, statistics reports like how many users are using this, how many users are from this particular place, the location, everything that we have in Facebook or Instagram.
Gianna, this is amazing. You're talking to me, and I'm one of the most expert persons in this country about data visualization. So we're so lucky. So if the rest of the people agree, we can dedicate. Gianna, here you have one of my lectures. It's like a TED talk I gave for the government. And I'm going to give you a book I wrote, and you can read it. And if you find it interesting, we can do the workshop that comes with the book, which is super awesome. Okay.
Sure, thank you.
And actually, yeah, UX, usability of dashboards, it's very important. And you know, all these companies, they have hired data scientists. And now all these data scientists are in the companies, and they have to, you know, make these dashboards and make these charts and explain the data to the CEOs. And the problem is that they are usually engineers, and we never teach them how to make a good chart. And this is why we have this course now called Data Visualization, and why I wrote a small book and workshop about it. And so you check the video if you like later on. And if you think that, yeah, we should teach this in the class, then we'll dedicate 1 hour to this class. Okay, what else? UX design and web programming, good. So I think this one, it's together with this one, right? So yes, so Figma, Figma is the new gold standard for UX design and web programming. So last year was something else, but now it's Figma. So we're very lucky that we have free access to Figma at the moment. And this is a super marketable skill. Okay, so effectively, now I want you to vote. So how do we vote? You take this star, hold on a second, wait a minute. This gold star, hold on a minute, this gold star. Oh, here it is, gold star, here you are. You see the gold star? And you pick one and you place it in the post-it that you prefer, okay? So I'm a data fan, so I'm gonna place it here. Just pick one and you place it wherever you want. Perfect, yes. You cannot vote for your own post-it. Video production, who voted for that? Video production. Okay, very good. And now if I give you, hold on a second. Give me a second with the stars. You little. Okay, very good. Okay, and now I give you a second chance to give a second vote to something else. What would you choose as a second choice? Right. So who said video production, and can you explain a bit what would be the relationship?
I have asked.
Oh yeah, tell me what exactly would you like to learn? How to make a cool video, or a viral video, or a TikTok viral video, or what exactly would that be?
Yeah, يعني like for example, like if you have, for example, a special service or something you want to advertise for, something really to be attracting or catching people's eye. Or if you are willing to work in a social media company, for example, you are able to produce something wow for the social media pages. So yeah, this is what I'm asking for.
Okay. I think I cannot teach you that, but what I can teach you is this thing I'm typing here. Growth hacks. Do you know what is that?
No.
So, right. Okay. So I'm going to show it to you with an example. Okay. Very good exercise. So we will see all of this except video production, but we might do it through here. So growth hacks is this. So those of you who follow me on LinkedIn, which is where I spend most of the time online, you will know that I invest in small companies. It's called angel investing. This is one of the companies we invested last year. It's a Swedish-German company. And this company, it's a service that helps you like Zotero or Mendeley or Refman. It helps you when you write a paper to manage the references online, right? So for example, I'm a customer, and of course I'm a customer. So it works, magic. Yeah. So for example, I have, let's see, I have a list of books as references, right? So imagine I'm writing a paper, so here I can come and change the format of the reference list very easily. And so it helps me have the references in order and so on, right? So I can list, I can share it, I can collaborate and so on. Great. So this company, there was this guy who was working on this company for three years, and it was not very successful. He was just making $350 per month. Yeah. Okay. Does that sound good to you? Do you think it's good? Well, it's terrible, right? It is terrible because $350 per month means $10 per day. So you cannot live with that. Not very successful. So he was going to close the company actually. And we went in as investors, and I said, using what I'm teaching you in this class, I said, look, first thing, change the UX and the UI. Change the colors, change this, change that. And the pricing, make three prices. He said, well, but I only have, like, if you have 3 products, one cheap, one expensive, and one in the middle, right? It's a psychological trick. And by using this trick, it's shown that people purchase more. So if you notice, when you go to a restaurant or if you've been to Starbucks, have you noticed that they have the tall, they have tall, small, medium, and tall? What do they have at Starbucks? They always have 3 coffees. It's almost the same size.
Venti.
Yes, venti.
And forget the third one. It's all large, but different
Tall,
language.
venti, and large or something. On grande, right? And the prices are usually something, I'm going to scale the prices, but in the US is something like 9, 7, I think it's 3 or 4, 5 or something here. Or 5 or something. Yeah, 3, I don't remember. Right? And everybody's ashamed to go with the tall because it's like you don't have money. And the grande, oh, they do something like this now. Yeah, look at this. And oh, right, it's like, oh, it's almost, you know, they do these tricks, and then you end up buying the venti because you feel comfortable in the middle, right? Nobody will say you are poor, and you didn't spend too much money out of it, right? So they do these things, the 3 pricing model, which is the 3 famous. So we told him, do this trick, and also instead of the membership being annual price, $90 per year, make it monthly, $9 per month. And so he did that, and this is the result, right? And after he did these changes, what do you think happened with the sales? Do you think it went up, down, or nothing changed?
Up.
How much?
Much more. I don't know how much, but it's much more. I believe.
Like double, triple? This is what happens with the sales. So the sales went up almost 10 times. 10 times. Yes? So same product, show it differently, and the sales went up 10 times. And that is the power of good UX UI. And this company was saved by changing the UI and UX a bit. How do you like that? And so that's why we will say also that good UX not only is good for the user, is good, and not only helps you not kill people. So bad UX kills. So good UX, it's very profitable. Sounds good. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, there's this whole field related to the UI UX, very related, called growth hacking. So we teach this course in the Science Park in the UAE through a STEP program with Lina and Miguel. And so growth hacking is this. It's about using UI, HCI, usability to make your company succeed. It's super useful skill. Sounds good? So it's a mix of psychology, it's a mix of UX, UI, and so on. So if you want, we can dedicate 1 or 2 hours to this as well. It's not exactly the video thing you were asking for, but it's quite close. All right, questions. You excited? No. Whoa, Iman says whoa. Yeah, 10x. I'm not kidding. Halafan, did you find Rosalind Picard?
What, doctor?
Did you find Rosalind Picard in the Twitter?
Yes.
All right, so that's Rosalind Picard. She's a woman. She's very bright. She's the inventor of the field of affective computing. And the idea of this field was that this. I'm going to show it to you very quickly. Angry German kid computer. Right. The objective of this field was to solve this problem. Let's see if you can see it. Can you see it? Okay. So this guy got very angry with the computer. So the objective of the affective computing field was to detect when the human was getting very angry, and so that the operating system, the Windows, could do something so that people don't get angry, right? This hasn't happened yet, but it's one of the goals of this field. Sounds good? The other objective is the biomedical stuff. Okay, good. So let's move on to the second part of the lecture, which is going to be this one, and this is, before that, we will continue here. I will send you these slides and PDF later on, so you can check them out. Yeah. See, to page 53. Self-efficacy. No, see. You can see. Okay, so this is the book we used. Right, coming. Okay, good. So design thinking, let's see very quickly what is it. We just saw the Marshmallow Workshop, which is a very good exercise. Right, so Peter Skillman invented the marshmallow and Tom Wojcik made it famous. And basically the takeaway is that more prototypes, more success, more quality. And here you have a case about Manchester United that you can check. And now look at this. What do you see here? What is this? Halafan. What do you think is this? What's happening here?
I think this is called something, I forget the name. It's like a Japanese name. We use it to.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, go on.
It's a Japanese name for a board.
Okay.
We used to use it in the agile team for two things. One for the team task management, and the other one, the Japanese one, we used it to write our assumption about the project and start to collect ideas, and we put them on the board, and then we have like a color meaning. So if it's red, it's functional. If it's yellow, it's non-functional, and we keep putting them, and then we try to arrange them. This is one for the brainstorming. I forget the name of the board. Also, we use it
like a vision board, you mean? Is this a vision board? Yeah, okay, we could do that. And
the other one, but it's I thought it at first, but then when I saw the organization, it's different. We use it before, but then we shift to Trello, which was the task board.
Yeah. It's a mix now. So you can do this thing now with Trello and Miro. Okay. Somebody else has an opinion. Sheikha says K-map. I don't know what's that. Sheikha, what is that? A knowledge map? Yeah. No, I said yeah. Vision board. Yeah. Talk to me. Good. So this is design thinking in action, basically. And is KJ method. I don't know this KJ method. I want to learn more about it. Shadi. So what is this? So this is design thinking. These three.
It's called Kanban.
Kanban method. Okay, no, it's not a Kanban. This one. Okay. So
it's called Kanban. Okay.
Yeah, it's not Kanban. So this photo was taken by my friend Karen Endicott at the Thayer School of Engineering in Dartmouth, which is a city in the USA, in the northwest. And these students are in a design thinking class workshop, and this is one of the phases of the work method that you will see now, that you will learn now. And what they are doing now is they are trying, so this is all the information in the board that they have gathered after the brainstorming, right? So the post-its represent ideas they had during the brainstorming, or maybe information they gathered. The photos are information about the problem they need to solve. And they put everything in the board, and now they're trying to connect ideas, something like this. So remember before when I told you that design thinking solves the problem of working together, as we saw in the Marshmallow Challenge, right? By iterating and so on. There is another problem. And this other problem is that some problems to solve are very complex and difficult. And that means that one person alone doesn't have the solution. Never. But you might have a solution, and which can be some part in somebody's brain and some part in somebody else's brain. And if you can connect those two parts, then you solve the puzzle, or you find a good solution. And how do you do that? In design thinking, we use a board and we use brainstorming, and we put all the crazy ideas there in the board. And then we put them on Post-its so other people can see it, and then we can make connections with the help of the board. Does that make sense? That is the only reason. Now, because coronavirus, we cannot do this method, so we will use Miro. Yes. And Miro has been a salvation. Okay. Does this sound good to you? We have been using Miro already a lot for this, actually. Yeah. So what is this design thing about? So we're gonna see a video of this company called IDEO, and this is, do you know who's this guy? His name is David Kelly. He's the founder of IDEO. I met him once in Stanford. It was amazing. I have a selfie with him. And he founded IDEO in 1977. And his first job was to design the Apple mouse that had a ball. This was one of the first mouse with a ball. And Steve Jobs, who is the founder of Apple, right? He was his friend. And so the IDEO used to work a lot for Steve Jobs' company. Sounds good? It's fascinating. Kelly, yes, very good. Excellent guy, by the way, and he has a lecture. It's very good, right? So this company, IDEO, became famous when TV in the 1980s came to them to 90 actually came to them for an interview because they were becoming like very famous in the scene. So what we're gonna do, what you are going to see now is this video, and in this video, your job is to identify the 5 steps which are written here. Don't look at them. The 5 steps of design thinking. Okay, the video doesn't explain them; they just show them to you. So what I want you to do is, while you watch the video, we're gonna do new frame. New frame. What are the 5 steps of design thinking shopping cart video? Oi. Right, so you can write a post-it or make a flow chart or something. Sounds good? Maybe you already know it, but I'm sure some of you already know. So you can work as a team to do this while we watch the video. Are you ready to watch the video? By the way, yeah, there's also a very cool toolkit for free that you can get by clicking here. There's this website called Design Thinking for Educators. And there's a lot of resources. I think some of you want to teach this, right? There's this excellent book, and this book, it's free, so you can download it and take it. But I don't use it so much, but I think it might be useful for someone, right? I want you also to identify the roles, right? What do I mean by that? So you will see this. This is the working space where a design thinking workshop happens. So you will see different roles like the backup man and other people. So your job is to also, through Post-its, tell me what are the roles. Okay, sounds good. Are you ready? So so let's see, how do we do this? Do you want me to show you the video, or you want to watch the video by yourselves? And I give you 11 minutes, which is the length of the video, and you do it. How do we do that? What is the best way to do it? What do you think? Anybody? Shadi, say something. Can you send I'm going to send the link, and I'm going to team B. So I'm going to use a technique called gamification. So I'm going to divide you in teams, okay, A and B. And this is team A. So I'm going to do breakout rooms, and then you decide how to solve this thing. So what I want you to do is I want to see the flow of design thinking here based on what you see on the video, not based on what you know. And I want to see the roles here. That's good. So I'm going to divide you into teams. I'm going to send you the link. And I think that's the best way to learn this. It's not a competition of time, so you have enough time, so you don't need to hurry at all. So I'm going to send you there's many versions of this video. There's one that lasts 9 minutes, and that's the best one, I think. And that one that lasts 15 minutes. I think we're going to use this one.
9 in the morning, day 1.
Excellent. Let's see.
And these California in the data genius.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to share the video. I'm going to do a breakout rooms on Zoom. Are you ready? So this is the video. The link is here. And now I'm going to split you in breakout rooms. Okay, let's see. Breakout rooms. So to breakout rooms, you'll be assigned automatically. Or do you want to choose? No, automatically. Open all rooms. So these are the rooms. Aisha, Hanan, Gianna, Halfan, Sheikha, and Shamsa. You are in room 1. Fatima, Iman, Metha, Safia, and Shadi. You are in room number 2. Do you have the link? Yes. Good. Wonderful. All right, time's ticking. Let's go. Do your best. You have 19 minutes. All right, 19 minutes and start counting now. Ready, go. Wonderful. Excellent. This is fantastic, amazing. Good. Do you need the link to Miro? I guess yes. What was that? The version. No, we didn't. Oh,
Hello, doctor. Doc?
Alors, tu HDR au boulot. Mon français, c'est bien. C'est bien. Yeah, well, in consequence. What do you do right now? Hi! What's up? I have 20 minutes left of class. This is what you can. This is what you can love. 2 times. Very hot water. Maybe you warm your icy hot.
Hot water. I'm hotter than water.
Yes, good for you.
And for you.
Yeah, that's true. True that, true that. Okay, how is it going, guys? Assign to. Yes, it is. What happened? Okay, good. Okay. How was your meeting? You have fun? Was not fun? Fun? No? What was it about? Oh, okay. Yeah, you told me about it. Really? Like boring and crazy? That's not acceptable. Boring and crazy. Boring and crazy is not good. Yeah, not good. Boring and crazy. No, no.
Either boring or crazy.
Unacceptable.
No, I don't.
You mean the European one, or should be fun? Hmm. Hmm.
She had a job offer in California, and she turned it down because she feels that she doesn't want to be in the country where there are problems. I would do that.
Hmm.
I live in Poland. The whole country hates Russians. And it was fun to be there.
It must be tough. Yeah.
She was doing coaching. She was doing coaching for directors and partners.
Hey, Steven. Hello. Hey, what's up? Yes. Jetty. Jetty Lounge. Jetty Lounge. Oh, an entry? What do you mean an entry? What do you mean stack entry? No, it's a lounge in the beach. That's good. If they want that, that's good. I went yesterday. It was. If you want that, go tell them, take them to Barasti then. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Coco Bay. Really? Is it good?
But they need to do
Coco Bay. It was empty yesterday.
no, it's never empty. It's fully booked. Trust me. 1 week upfront is the minimum.
Coco Bay is the latest cool thing in Dubai, so you can try there, but you need to book it first. Otherwise, Barasti is your friend. And then I don't know. I was in Jetty Lounge. It's nice, but it's not for what they need. Have a class. I'll send you later. Ciao, ciao. Yeah, my friend.
Habibi, I will show the story.
No.
No, no.
Hello, everybody. Are you still on? Hello, hello. Oi. No. Welcome back to the main room. How are you doing? Right, so I see very interesting things going on. So anybody wants to explain their workflow that they understood from the video? No one? Somebody? Roles, who's exactly the teams? Yeah, good. Interesting. Okay, you can stop now. Stop. Look at me. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay, so we're gonna see the solution, the single one solution, right? So one possible solution to this task I gave you is this one. First one is gather facts, knowledge, and data. So gather facts, observation, yes. Second one will be share the facts with the team, which when we saw each of the team members explaining to the rest what they have found. Third one is the brainstorming. Once the information has been shared, brainstorm. And that's the picture you saw of the girls in the whiteboard, right? And the brainstorming, people draw the possible solutions. 4 is to vote on the best ideas and then pick 1 or 2. And 5 is to prototype, and then we do the iteration in the prototyping. Does this sound good to you? Great, yeah. And which one of these phases do you think is the most important? You can put your mouse on the most important phase. Yes, gathering. What's the difference between a good? Yeah, okay, you got it right. Yes, it's number 1, and it's the most difficult. Why is it the most difficult? Because it's hard. It's easy to brainstorm and have ideas. That's very easy. But it's very hard to understand and gather data of a problem. It means going to the place, talking to people, knowing how to interview people. And it takes 1-2 weeks to do this. And so if you remember in the video, they send them for 1 or 2 weeks to interview people. And engineers, they don't teach us how to interview people. The place where they teach you how to interview people and how to observe is called anthropology, right? So that's why many anthropologists, they work at these places. So for us, the hardest is 1, but if you want to be successful designing apps or anything, you need to learn how to observe people, and you will learn this superpower soon. And that's a key. And the other reason is that some people say, oh yeah, design thinking, yeah, sure. Who design thinking is super powerful, but what happens is that many people do design thinking without spending any time or effort in here. And if this is the foundation of all the rest, like if this is not reflecting reality or the problem you're solving, and that means you didn't do the homework. In other words, you don't know what you're talking about. What do you think the result of the brainstorming will be? It will be bad, and the rest of the phases will also be bad. So your design thinking, or your agile, by the way, or your lean UX is only as good as your research is. Okay, so that's super important. That's it. Typical mistakes that engineers do is to do a survey of the users. Would you like an app that does this? Would you like an app that does that? terrible idea because you cannot ask what people want. You have to show it to them and observe their reaction. Okay? You never ask, would you like a car that does this? Would you like a car that does that? You show the car or a prototype and you see what they do, if they buy it or not, or if they want to buy it or not. Sounds good? This, to me, is what I see is the #1 problem when I see teams failing in a design or solving the wrong idea or really not understanding the problem at all. Right. So, and now let's go back to the roles. So let's see what you got in roles. What roles did you gather from the video? Roles. Peter is the project leader, yeah, but we have a special name for Peter, and the name is, what is the name? The facilitator. Yeah. So it's someone good with people, that has perceptive, and his job is to facilitate the process. It's not to give ideas, it's to facilitate the process. The other one is the expert. So all the people here are experts, and each one of them is an expert in something. And this is the diversity of the team. And your workshop is important that you have diversity for the output. And look at the table. So the other is to have a small table so people are close to each other, right? So communication is easier. The other is to have a wall, and then you have this guy here. This guy who is not an expert. This guy is called a backup man, right? And his job is to observe the process from a third point of view, observer's perspective. And then this guy, when the workshop is finished, because these workshops last for weeks, every day he meets with this guy who has been so busy here that he might have missed a lot of things that were happening. And only if you are fully dedicated to observe what's going on, you get. And that's why they meet in private and they comment on what's going on and if they should make it longer or shorter or jump to the next phase or what to do. Right? Backup man. It's like adult supervision. But as I say, backup man, his only job is to observe. Questions? Good. Okay, so everybody's here, and so everybody attendance is good, and so I will see you next week. If you have any questions, Slack. Good night, everybody. Excellent. Thank you, Metha. Thank you for coming. See you next week, guys. That's super awesome. Superpowers you're getting. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.